everyone, and I hope you are all well. My name is Ellouise and I am an area demonstrator for NAFAS. I cover sort of Kent, London, Essex and surrounding areas too. And today I wanted to share with you a sort of brief tutorial on how to make something that a little bit different for your dining table. As we are very close to Christmas, and I thought I'd give you a couple of different ideas on how you can create something lovely at home. Quite an inexpensive design as well, something that you would probably have some different sundries lying around at home that you can make, and also things that you can collect as well, sort of readily available. So to give you an idea of what we've got, I've got some gorgeous white freesia. I've got lots of different sort of Christmassy foliages, including some spruce, some ferns, some eucalyptus and berries, and we have a collection of different baubles as well that I'll be using. So I've gone with sort of greens and grey tones, and I have some different size baubles and just some little sundries like some stars and trees. So to make this design, what you will need to have is obviously some scissors. I've got a glue gun here that's heated up and ready to go, and sort of all of the different elements, but you can adapt this to any colour palette that you're looking for. So if you want more traditionals for your table, or sort of any colour theme really, then you can do this and adapt it. It's a really brilliant way to make something a little bit different, and it can fit any dining table. You can make it long, short, wide, thin. It's perfectly adaptable too, which is what we like. So to start off with, I'm going to make my frame. So as you can see, just a really standard bauble here. I picked these up at our local garden centre, and I'm going to take the cap off the top, so you're left with the content, so to speak, and just that perfect top, which is great. So I'm going to start by mixing different colours and shapes. So as I said, I've gone with different tones. Take all of the caps off them, and not throw them. Not juggling with them would be brilliant. So as you can see, so I've got two slightly different size centres, but that'd be absolutely fine. One we can use for foliage and one we can use for flower. So to give you an idea, I'm going to start by putting some glue on one side of the baubles here. Now be careful to put glue on the areas that you want to join together. So I'm going to do it on the side here and do this at a slight angle and off centre. So you might just have to hold them together for 30 seconds. The hot glue tends to set really quickly. So just holding them. Once you've got the first sort of 3 or 4 baubles in place, the whole design is a lot easier to put together. You just need that initial base, so to speak, and that stability, which is more important. So as you can see, my first 2 are now joined, and they're standing upright. So continue to make a shape with your baubles. Now I'm going for a long, thin design, as our table is jam-packed full of goodies ready for Christmas, as I hope all of yours are too. And I'm just going to place my third one at an adjacent angle, so you can just see there. So I'm just holding them in place like this, so make sure they're nice and secure, and it's really important that you do them slightly off centre on either side, so that it's got that balance, as much as visual balance, but physical balance for the design as well. So there we go, it's just setting now, and I'm going to continue to add to them. So I've gone with green as my main colour, so I've got in the bauble pack I've got a mixed set of 3, so you've got shiny, matte and glittered. So I'm going to add another one on here. Now if you've got some really chunky stems that you'd like to include, then you can cut the top part of the bauble off. So cut this top part off and make it wider. So if you had larger stems, then I would advise doing that, just so that you can get them where you want them as well. So it's really important to make this personal to your home. So if your favourite flower you want to include is a really chunky stem, then just cut the outer part off, and you can do that. So we're just letting that set, sort of always holding the last one in place, and the possibilities with this are endless. So I'm now going to add another one this side. You can sort of do any colourway, any sundries as well that you wish to add in, which works really nicely too. So I'm going to do 2 glitter ones adjacent here. Pop another glue stick in. Pop that on there. So this is a little piece that we quite like to make, and actually it works really well. As I mentioned, it's perfect for any size table. and you can sort of make them as long, wide, short as you need. So what I also do is as well, I twist the pods different directions, just so that not all of the flower is upright. So you can maybe do this one at a slight angle if I know he's going to be on the outer edge, or inwards if you want those flowers to go to a certain direction. So, and you can start to see that the more baubles you add, the more stable the design becomes. So I've got, where are we? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 12 large baubles here, or standard size baubles I should say. And then I've got some smaller ones as well, just to give a bit of a variation in what we are creating. So I'm just twisting that way so we can get some different ways in there. And like I said, I just bought a couple of mixed packs from the garden centres. That one's stuck. It's quite nice to be able to make something for the dining table this Christmas, as we've all been missing our demonstrations so much. So it's nice to be back in front of the camera, or you know, in front of you guys making things. So I hope you're all well, and hopefully the new year brings us some positivity and we can get back to demming. I definitely do miss seeing everyone. So we can pop that last one on there. Now also another trick with this, if you like, you could use maybe a charger plate as your base, so you can start to include some other sundries. So if you wanted to add maybe like pine cones and dot them in between the baubles, that would work really nicely, or you could glue those directly onto the charger plate as well. But I quite like the fluid movement that the baubles give you. Like I say, just a really good glue gun to secure them all together. And just give it a little press so you know it's nice and tight when you've added everything in. I'm going to put you over there. Glue that one that way. And like I said, just changing the direction on some of them as we go. And they're so light as well, so you know it's not going to be too heavy. The weight's not going to pull it apart, which is brilliant. And if you're worried about all the glue splatters that we've got, then they will go at the end. It's just better to have it really nice and secure than not. So here I've got some gorgeous white matte baubles as well, slightly smaller size than the other ones that I've shown you. So I just thought I'd throw these in for a bit of scale and proportion all the way through. So they come as a set of 3 with some designs that we've been doing this Christmas, and perfect again. They've got that natural water holding source, so to speak, and we can just pop these on. There you go, just take the 3 wires in. So you can see I'm going to glue them that way up so they can hold the water in there. So pop a little one at the front. And these are quite nice to place sort of as you go towards the edges, just so you're getting a little bit of variation all the way through. And what I'll do is, once this is all set, I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see what we've been doing. So I've got 3 white baubles just on the edge so they can be seen. Now just whilst that sets, as I mentioned, I've got some lovely sundries, these Christmas trees, which we've got just from the wholesaler, which come on a string to hang, but I actually think they'd be quite nice sort of glued on, either sort of towards the edges or just to mix in between. And likewise, these are they're made from like a coconut bark. They're a style that's been dusted silver, so they're perfect for our colour theme once again. As you've got green as the dominant colour, it's quite nice to add in some other sort of elements all the way through. So I'm just going to glue these on sort of the edges and around the base, just to give it that little bit more stability, really. So I'm going to glue this one at the bottom. just see on there, put them on the base. And it's really great. I think this time of year as well, it's lovely where we can have a really good rummage around the home and see what we can get our hands on and what we can use in our designs as well. Normally something we'd be doing all year round with our dens. Pop that just on the inside there. Look. And with a hot glue gun, it makes it just that little bit easier as well, where we can prop those on. Just gonna. It's really important about different heights and scales, as I was mentioning earlier, to give that really lovely dimension on your designs. So now that's all setting, I'll just, there we go, you can just start to see that from the main pieces in the centre. You can all see that on there. You can just see where it's all starting to come together. So all of the tubes are facing upright, the holes, apologies, and we've got all the different sort of shapes. Some that you can see I've tilted different angles, the smaller ones on the edges. Our sundries glued to the top or the bottom that are tucked in there. And then you can just get an idea that you could even carry on and make a really, really long design. I've just chosen to make a more clustered arrangement here. And you could, like I said, you could get different height baubles, different sizes. Where I've gone with smaller, you could have a bigger one in the centre. There's so many options as well, it's brilliant. Now, I've got a little sort of water filler with a spout on, so that it's perfect for this type. So I'm just going to squeeze my water into the tube, making sure it's nice and full. Another thing that you can use if you don't have one of these bottles is like a sports bottle, and they work exactly the same. So just filling it all up in there. Do it in an order as well, so you make sure you don't forget one. Which has happened a couple of times before. You don't notice till you slip away. Let it refill. There we go. Just continue to add water throughout. You can even make a design like this ready for your fireplace. Lots of options really. It's quite a versatile design, but it's really lovely to have something, you know, smaller and daintier on the table for Christmas. You can even do it, as I mentioned earlier, on a charger plate. You could do with a candle in the middle maybe and have the baubles around it. Could be really nice. So as the wax melts all down the baubles, that would be, and it'd even secure them together even more as the wax melts too, which would be brilliant. Get a nice colour candle as well. There's some really great finds in garden centres and craft shops at the moment. There we go. There we go, so that's all filled up, and now we get to add some gorgeous foliage. So I have got this lovely silver dyed asparagus fern, which you can just see there. It's really, really gorgeous, which is just like a normal fern that they spray from the wholesalers out in Holland. So I'm going, because of that lovely movement on the stem, I'm going to trim that and have that in multiple areas in the design. So as I said, we were not worrying about the glue splatters or, you know, anything too much in there because they're all going to be hidden. So I'm going to take my first piece and hide it sort of around the base. And you can just start to build up that really, really lovely strong colour palette all the way through. And just taking off some of the, like we would do a normal vase arrangement or any type of arrangement really, just cleaning the stems before they go into the baubles. There we go, some more in there. And it's one of the nice things about this time of year, you can do lots of foraging and find some gorgeous pieces to add into the design. Whatever you've got in your garden or your neighbour's garden, if they don't mind a bit of community pruning, then we're all okay. Let's go and take the smaller pieces off the bottom. We're just going to do a bit of a, so it can come both ways over, like so. And it doesn't matter that you've got quite a lot here at the moment, because when we start to add all of the other elements, it does soften the intense colour of the silver that we've got. So I'll keep a few bits back. And then I've got some lovely spruce, but I've got some really, really small, delicate pieces here. So I'm just going to, same again as we did with our fern, condition the stem so that it's really nice and clean to go in the water and into the bauble, because we do have limited space on the neck of the bauble here. And it's really important as you're doing this to make sure that every element or every bauble has something in, as it would look really, really odd if there wasn't one in there and it was just, you know, sitting there. I suppose the only other way you could do it if you wanted to leave some with nothing in is to maybe turn them so their top opening doesn't have sort of irrelevance, so it's not like it's been missed. So if it's on the edge for maybe support, then that's absolutely fine. Put one of those in there. That smell is just so Christmassy, it's lovely. It really is gorgeous, the smell of spruce. So just clean that nice and neatly on there. And add in another piece here. And you're now beginning to build up your layers as you go. You can add fairy lights to a design like this, which could look really, really wonderful. Fairy lights, if you wanted to shroud them through. As I mentioned with the candles that you can do earlier as well. Really, really lovely. So I have some, it's a form of eucalyptus, and it is the berries of the eucalyptus, which I thought was really, really nice. So we can give that a little, pop those in too. Pop those just on the outer edges so they're seen. As I'm sure all of you ladies know, just about getting that placement, making sure that the really, really gorgeous pieces are spotted and enjoyed. There we go. Put that in there. A little bit tough for that, so we just trim that down. There we go. So you can start to see it's coming together. And now I have some gorgeous, gorgeous white freesia. It smells amazing. And which we're just going to pop in the baubles too. And it, once again, pulling those colour palettes all together. Really, really nice. So I've got all different variations. We've got the buds, we've got the flowers. I think it's really nice to get all elements of the freesia involved. And on some of the baubles, as we mentioned, as they have the wider necks, you can get more than one flower into the bauble. So push that back. Lovely. I'm just making sure that all of your baubles have a flower in. So we've just begun by adding in some lovely pieces, and then I'm just going to add some more of the silver fern over the top, so that it gives it that really glossy, Christmassy feel with the Winter Wonderland feel that we've got here, and also just bringing up the different textures that you have. So the baubles are a perfect container for the water, as they've been made, you know, in a completely solid form. So they are perfect to just hold some water for a design quite like this. And then what I'm just going to add is some trailing foliage just over the top, just to finish that off. So I have here some gorgeous Ceropegia, which is a really, really lovely house trailing plant that I'm just going to wind over the top like a vine. So you could do the same if you've got some lovely ivy vines maybe at home, or clematis vines, or jasmine vine would be brilliant. And I think it just pulls together a little bit more of the rhythm and the motion going through the design, really, which is just what we need at the moment. Pop that through, so I'm literally just winding it all the way through, just to pull those little pieces together. So as I said, we've got two pieces, go from one end to the other, just for that consistency throughout. They sort of meet in the middle at the larger points. Just pop that in, wind it all through. And there we go, that is our mini Christmas decorations. If I move these pieces, I shall just show you, clear everything off the table. And we'll get some pictures as well, so I'll take some pictures of it in situ, so we can get an idea of what it looks like. But I can just tilt that towards the camera. It's obviously heavier now with the water in, but you can just see where all of those pieces come together, and it looks like a really, really wonderful Christmas centrepiece. And quite an inexpensive piece to do as well, you know, with some foraging, as some baubles in your decoration box. You can definitely make something along the lines of this design here. Okay. Now I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful Christmas, and a safe Christmas of that as well, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully we get to see you all in the new year and moving forward. And I wish you all well. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching as well. Thank you, I'm Ellouise. See you later. Bye.